If you're a beginner skateboarder and you've ever come across a ramp like this one behind me and thought to yourself, where do I even begin? This video is for you. In today's video, I'm going to teach you the first 5 tricks that I think you should learn when skating mini ramps or half pipes. But first, let's go over a couple things. Now, if you don't have a ramp like this one to practice on, there are other options. Let's check it out. You can always take a couple of quarter pipes and set them up basically the same way a mini ramp would be. For example, I've got these Ramptech 2-foot quarter pipes behind me, and they're perfect for like entry-level learning new tricks. But for the remainder of this video, we're going to be using Ramptech's 4-foot half pipe. Now, before we go any further, let's go over a couple of terms. You're going to need to understand these when I'm teaching you how to do these tricks. Now, there's no like rule book for skateboarding terms, but generally you have half pipes and mini ramps. Well, what's the difference? We're going to go over those and a couple of other things. A half pipe is any ramp that has a flat bottom and a quarter pipe on each end. A mini ramp is any kind of half pipe that doesn't have any vert on it. This ramp right here would be considered a mini ramp. Now that brings us to our next term. What is vert? Vert is the part of a half pipe where the transition curves up into a vertical position going straight up and down. This ramp does not have any vert on it. So you see, all mini ramps are half pipes, but not all half pipes are mini ramps. Coping is typically a metal pipe such as this one, or a concrete surface that sits right in between the transition and the top surface. A stall is when you and your board approach the coping and your board lands in a variety of different ways onto the coping and then back down onto the ramp. All right, now that we finally have all of that out of the way, let's finally learn how to skate this thing. Come on.
These are the first 5 tricks we're going to go over today. Drop in, kick turn, frontside and backside, slash, frontside and backside, rock to fakie, and fakie tail stall. Now I'll go over what each trick is before breaking them down individually. Dropping in is absolutely fundamental when learning to skate a half pipe. Dropping in gives you the ability to get enough speed to reach the other side of the ramp. Learning kick turns will help you navigate your way around the ramp before learning how to do stalls on the coping. Learning how to slash is kind of like an in-between trick that isn't quite a stall, but will help you build your confidence and establish a relationship with the coping before moving on to more difficult stalls. It's very similar to a kick turn, but you let your back truck tap the coping. Rock to fakie is the first and simplest stall. It's easy to get into this trick and will allow you to learn how to ride backwards on the ramp. Fakie tail stall is another great fundamental trick, and can be thought of as kind of a reset trick to help you take a second to gather your thoughts and set up for the next trick. Combining all of these tricks together will help you flow around a half pipe, boost your confidence, and motivate you to learn more. Before breaking down each trick, let's go over your feet position. This is how I place my feet for all of these tricks. Your front foot goes on the bolts, and your back foot goes right on the tail. Not on the edge of the tail, but covering most of the tail. Here's what it looks like if you ride regular or goofy stance. A wide stance like this helps keep you stable and gives you a lot of board control. I recommend using this stance until getting into more advanced tricks. Make sure you keep your shoulders and hips above your feet. Don't rotate your torso. Keep your knees slightly bent so you can absorb your weight as you go down the ramp. Your body needs to move with the curvature of the ramp. Distribute your weight evenly with the curve of the ramp as you move down it. It may seem scary your first time standing at the top of a ramp. A high percentage of becoming successful at skateboarding is overcoming fear. You'll have to fall, get up, and try again. Each time you fall, it'll get a little bit easier. When rotating either frontside or backside on a kick turn, you need to lean slightly away from the ramp. Feel the curve and lean away from the surface of the ramp. Leaning too far forward will cause the board to slip out from underneath you. In order to time the turn properly, remember to start your turn before you stop moving up the ramp. Your speed will decrease as you move up the curve of the ramp. You want to find that sweet spot to start rotating just before you've come to a complete stop. To rotate, make sure you rotate your shoulders in the direction you want to rotate first, then follow through with your feet. To rotate with your feet, apply pressure to the tail, slightly lift up your front foot, and pivot using your back wheels. As stated before, this trick is very similar to a kick turn. Many steps will be the same. For body position, when rotating either frontside or backside, you need to lean slightly away from the ramp. Feel the curve and lean away from the coping. Make sure you have enough speed to reach the coping. You need to properly time your rotation to hit the coping with your back truck quickly before you ride back into the ramp. Just like the pivot, rotate your shoulders first, then follow through with your feet. Oftentimes, you may not be able to see your feet very well when doing a backside pivot. It will take a lot of practice to get familiar with the ramp and be able to feel when you've hit the coping. Keep your shoulders and hips parallel with your feet. Don't rotate your torso. Lean away from the top of the ramp. Your body doesn't need to go all the way up top because you need to be ready to fall back down into the ramp. Pay attention to your speed. You want enough speed to get your board to the top of the ramp, but not so much that your body goes past the coping. This is the most important part of the trick. As you ride up the ramp, put slight pressure on your tail and lift up your front foot. Once your front foot makes it over the coping, press forward and down with your front foot and allow your back foot to move up slightly. Then lean back to get your body moving back down the ramp and lift your front foot up, putting slight pressure on the tail. Once you've cleared the coping, press your front foot back down onto the surface of the ramp and ride away. Keep your shoulders and hips above your feet. Don't rotate your torso. Keep your back leg straight and your front knee bent so there's room for the front end of the board to rotate upward. Pay attention to your speed. You want enough speed to reach the top of the ramp, but not so much that your body goes past the coping. As you ride up the ramp, make sure you lean away from the coping. Not all of your weight goes over your back foot. This makes it easy to get in and out of the tail stall quickly. As you approach the ramp, apply pressure to the tail of your board right before you hit the coping. Timing is very important and will take a lot of practice. Make sure you lift your front foot up so the tail has room to sit flat on the top surface of the ramp. When you're ready to get out and go back down into the ramp, just lean forward like you're dropping in.
So those are the first 5 tricks. Make sure you really focus on those and get them down really well. You'll start to get a nice flow of going back and forth. Then you can start mixing in new tricks. Keep practicing, be safe, and most importantly, have fun. Now, we're gonna have a lot of tutorials coming up in the very near future. Leave us a comment and let us know what are you struggling with or what would you like to see from us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know every time we've got a video coming out. Until next time, skate hard.